In our last video, we made puff pastry. Today, let's take it up a notch and make Pithivier, a savory version of king cake. Here's a recipe after 5 tests. Before we start, beat an egg and add it to 500 ml milk and set it aside. In a saucepan, heat some olive oil. Add 1.5 teaspoons of celery seeds and about 2 tablespoons of dried shrimps. Toast them for about 40 seconds. Then add 1 chopped leek. Mix a little. Add about 1/3 teaspoon salt and sweat till softened for 3 to 4 minutes. Add 2 cloves of minced garlic. Once it detects a nice garlicky smell, add 160 grams of chopped white button mushrooms and mix. Mushrooms contain a lot of moisture and take time to cook dry, so take this opportunity to add a bunch of thyme. I find stripping the leaves off the stems time-consuming, but by the time you've added all the leaves, the mushrooms will almost be cooked dry. Now add 3/4 cup of mixed vegetables, including carrots, garden peas, and corns. I use frozen ones. Cook till they sizzle. Add 150 grams of raw shrimps, another 1/3 teaspoon salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground white pepper. Mix till the shrimp just turn pink. Then add 28 grams of all-purpose flour and stir for 3 to 4 minutes to cook off the raw flour taste. Add a little of the egg and milk mixture, mixing well each time. I tempered twice, and once tempered, add the remaining mixture in 2 portions, mixing well after each addition. The mixture will slightly thicken at this stage. Mix 30 ml milk with 24 grams of potato starch, blending well before adding it to the pan. Use a spatula to keep stirring as it thickens quickly. This should take about a minute. Add a bunch of parsley leaves, mix, and then take it off the heat. Continue stirring to cool it down. Once the mixture drops to about 70 degrees Celsius, add 85 grams of Camembert and stir till the cheese melts. The final mixture should be thick, but not overly thick. By the way, I found this in my freezer, thawed it, and blended 50 grams to the cheese mixture, only to find this ripened stage that adds a very nice blue cheese-like flavor to the filling. Highly recommended. Cover the mixture with plastic wrap and let it cool. Grab a 4-cup-sized bowl and brush it with oil. Line it with plastic wrap. I use this kind of ham. Cut them in half and line them in the bowl. By now, the filling should be lukewarm. Spoon it into the bowl till it's halfway full. Optionally, top it with about 100 grams of raw salmon. Toast the salmon beforehand if you prefer. Sprinkle with salt and ground black pepper. Then spoon more fillings on top till level with the ham. Cover the top with ham. For this bowl, I used 8 ham pieces in total. Cover with plastic wrap and chill in the refrigerator overnight. The remaining filling can be fit into another bowl of about 2.5 cups. Also put it in the refrigerator overnight. The next day, start about 3 hours before your dinner. Prepare 2 puff pastry sheets. The first should weigh between 350 to 400 grams and be rolled evenly into a 23 centimeter square. Place it on a tray, cover with plastic wrap, and chill. The second sheet should weigh between 600 to 650 grams and be rolled into a 32 centimeter square. Cover and chill this one as well. Now comes the fun part. Take the first puff pastry sheet and the filling out of the refrigerator. Uncover the filling, invert the bowl onto the pastry, and carefully remove the bowl. Take the second puff pastry sheet out. Brush the edges of the first sheet around the filling with water, and gently place the second sheet on top. Carefully shape the pastry around the filling, pressing the edges to seal. Use a cutter or knife to trim the pastry to 21 centimeter diameter. Remove the scraps. To make an egg wash, mix 1 yolk with a 1/4 teaspoon of cream. Then brush it all over the pastry. Use a tip of knife to tuck in the edges for classic decoration. It's easier than it looks, so don't be intimidated. Chill in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. Then apply a second layer of egg wash. Squirt dough lightly with a sharp knife or a lamb. I'm keeping simple with a classic spiral pattern, but avoid cutting too deeply. Use a toothpick to make a small hole at the top. For scraps, use a cookie cutter to create a small shape and cut a hole in the center. Place it on top of the dough. Brush with egg wash. Insert a piping tip through the hole and chill in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Once it's chilled, immediately put it in the preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Then lower the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius and bake for another 1.5 hours. Once done, turn off the oven and let a Pithivier sit inside for 20 minutes. Take it out from the oven and it's ready to serve. Pithivier is considered an advanced pastry and is typically enjoyed during the holiday season. It's time-consuming, but it's worth making at least once for your family. This Pithivier is hearty yet not heavy. It doesn't need a sauce, and is packed with flavor without being overwhelming. For a higher rise and a crispier crust, use a 4-term puff pastry instead of 6 in the previous version, but you may need to sacrifice some appearance. However, the taste is superb, so it's up to you to decide what you want for your Pithivier. That's it for today. Bye for now.